Ooh, that looks tasty. Welcome folks, today the Hungry Gamer is back with another mini review, and today we're talking about Monster Pit from Elzra Games. Now, this is one that I backed on Kickstarter because I just have a real love of crisis management games. I just really enjoy them. And it's weird because it's not like dungeon crawls that I love, but I really enjoy crisis management games. And I'm that weird one that doesn't like Pandemic very much, not because I don't recognize the beauty that is Pandemic, but because it just, the theme, even before we had a pandemic, just kind of weirded me out. Same reason I don't do historical war games. But anyhow, so I backed this on Kickstarter, didn't know a ton about it. I looked at a little bit of gameplay here and I was like, okay, this could be very cool. And so here we are. And so what it is, as I said, is it is a crisis management game. There is some kind of big boss that is closing in on the city, on the Citadel. And each player is going to play, 1 to 4, is going to play a different hero, and I think there's like 6 or 8 in the box, something like that, that has a different power on it that you'll be able to activate at the beginning of the turn, and maybe, if you roll the right dice, and you're going to move them around the city, a little bit worker placement style, and you're going to be taking actions at all the buildings and the area that you go to. Now, at the beginning of the turn, you're going to roll all the dice based on your party, your hero, and you have defensive characters, you have offensive characters. And they all have certain dice allocated to them. You'll roll all of those, and everyone that's the captain symbol, the little crossed hammers, is going to earn you gold. Ones that are monster symbols are going to get you, and there's a bonus if you actually roll all captain symbols. And as you're moving around through the city, you're going to be spending that gold to upgrade things. Maybe you'll be recruiting new characters. Maybe you will be getting upgrades to your personal character's permanent dice. Maybe you'll be healing characters that have been hurt in combat. Maybe you'll be getting items. Whatever. And along with that, you'll be, every other turn at least, because you always have to move, you're going to be moving out and you're going to be attacking this monster. And to do that, you're going to roll all of your dice. Then the monster is going to have its own set of dice, which are going to change throughout the game depending on how they do on their turns, and then they'll roll theirs. And there's a little bit of exploding dice action here with the little sparkles around certain symbols, and you're going to count up how many hits did you get, and then you'll roll all their dice. How many monster things did they get, and if you have more, you do 1 damage. If you get more than 3 more, you do 2 damage. That's all you can do. And then after you've gone, and again, you're not just doing that, because there's going to be monsters invading all around, and you're going to be dealing with that too. And then they're going to get to go, the bad guy, they're going to roll their dice. And on their player board, their monster board, they're going to have certain things that activate depending on how many monsters they roll when they roll their dice. It might be they just move closer to the Citadel, because they're also moving around the edges of the board, and if they get all the way to the Citadel, they bust in, they burn down the town, and you lose. So they might just be moving closer. They might be doing a direct attack on one of the characters, in which case now they roll their dice and you roll your dice. And if you tie, one of your characters gets hurt. If they beat you, one of your characters gets killed and is just out. And so you're constantly managing as you're going through. And so you're just managing this as you're going through. Oh, and I almost forgot, at the end of the round, there's also going to be some kind of event that gets drawn. And this is when you're playing the co-op version. I've never played the competitive version. But what's going to happen here is you're going to draw this card, and more likely than not, I think it's maybe 60-40, something like that, it's going to be something bad. An area of the city is going to be shut down to you until you pay money to fix it. Or a monster is going to come out. When the monster's in town, all the shops are boarded shut in that specific area of the town. Or maybe it'll be something good, like there'll be a vigilante will come out and will kind of go around, and if you're lucky will kill monsters for you and things like that. But really, that's how this game plays. So what do I like about this game? First thing is, and I'm actually going to talk about this later, is there's something very charming about the art. It's not like an 8-bit art, but it feels like 8-bit art that's not 8-bit. I don't know how to describe it. I don't usually like that whole 8-bit art look, but it's a very, just kind of, you look at it and you know if you like it or you don't. I kind of like it. It's just this kind of its own little world, like old school video game almost, but not like super old school. I don't know how to describe it, but it catches your eye, and so I do like that about it. Next thing is, it is dice chucking goodness. You are building up pools of dice, trying to make sure you have the best dice possible, and you're chucking dice at least once every turn, maybe 2 or 3 times every turn. And so there's some real good dice chucking goodness in there. The next thing is, there is a good variety in the big bosses you're fighting. I mean, there's a lot that come in the game, and not only are there a lot of, and they all are very different, but not only are there a lot of them, but each of them has multiple difficulties that you can put onto it. And that really gives you a lot of replay as far as the bad guys go. The heroes, the captains, have some variability, not a ton, it's minor. There's a black rune die that you roll at the beginning of each turn, and if you roll the right thing, you'll be able to activate that ability at some point. And the last thing that I like about it is, it can be maddening in the best way, because so many times you're feeling, okay, I'm building myself up, I'm ready, I'm gonna go, all I gotta do is get this thing, I'm gonna go attack the big boss, I'm gonna hurt it, and then the event comes out and it's a monster that closes down where you're trying to go. And it's not easy to kill things, because you're doing 1 or 2 damage each time, so it can be slow to take out these monsters. And so it's just this, it's a crisis management game. You're trying to do what you're trying to do, but they're just slowing you down as you go while that monster gets closer and closer and closer. And it can just be maddening, especially with the dice, because at the beginning of the turn, for every die you don't roll that gives you a coin, the monster moves forward 1 step. And so it's maddening in the best way. And there's a randomness to the maddening bit, which I actually find quite exciting. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first one is the art. Like, you really, I mean, you might not like it. Like, you just might not like it at all. The next thing is, the game is very swingy because it is so dice-oriented. And you might just have really good rolls coming and you'll whoop it. Same thing, maybe the events that come out are just ones that help you, or they close down areas that you don't need anymore. And it's just the way it goes. It's a very swingy game, no matter how you look at it. I find it satisfying most of the time, but very swingy. The next thing I'll say is, I don't think it plays best solo. Now, you can absolutely play multi-handed, have a couple of different captains out there, but considering the size of the boards, this game, like, the reason this is a mini review is because it fills up my whole game table just about. That's exaggerating, but it just, without putting my camera way up near the ceiling, it was just too hard for me to actually record this. So it's big, and you really want to play more than one character, I think. I have fun playing solo, but I had more fun playing with another person. The last thing I'll say is, the event deck that happens at the end of each round, I wish that was bigger. There's cool stuff in there. There's monsters in there, there's things that shut things down, there's good bonuses in there, but there's just not a lot. So after you play 5 times, you're really going to start seeing the same things over and over again, and that's going to take away from some of the novelty, some of the excitement that comes in the game, because you never know what's going to happen. But there you have it, folks. That is Monster Pit. All in all, I dig this one. I backed it kind of on a whim, and I'm glad that I did. Is this a top tier crisis management game for me? I don't think it is, but it's definitely in the running for being in the list I'm working on of top 10 crisis management games. I'm working on one of those, and this is definitely in the running to be in that top 10. Probably so. If I had to make the list today, it would be in there somewhere. And probably the 5 to 8 range is where it would be. But I have several more that I actually have to play before I can make that decision. Anyhow, there you have it, folks. That is Monster Pit. If you like crisis management games, you like some chaos, you like dice chucking, this is one to absolutely check out. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.